Happiness is the one thing we seek yet never seem to catch. The moment we believe we've grasped it, it dissolves like mist in the morning sun. But why? Why does happiness, the supposed pinnacle of human experience, always seem just out of reach? The answer lies in a cruel paradox. The very act of chasing happiness ensures we will never have it. Psychologists have long studied this phenomenon, and one of the most striking observations comes from Viktor Frankl, who noted that happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. The more we make happiness our goal, the more it eludes us. This is because happiness is not an object, not a trophy waiting at the end of some arduous journey. It is, at best, a byproduct of meaning, and at worst, a fleeting chemical illusion manipulated by our own biology. The irony is that we have been conditioned to believe that happiness is a destination, something we can earn if we just work hard enough, achieve enough, acquire enough. From childhood, we are told that life follows a predictable script: do well in school, get a good job, find a partner, build a family, accumulate wealth, and one day, after all the struggle, we will be happy. But no one ever questions the premise. Why should happiness be postponed to some hypothetical future? And more importantly, why does it seem to vanish whenever we think we have secured it? The answer is both biological and psychological. Our brains are wired to crave more, to seek out new stimulation, to always be slightly dissatisfied. This mechanism once ensured our survival. A prehistoric human who was content with their food supply or their shelter would have been less likely to innovate, to explore, to seek better conditions. Evolution favored those who were never fully satisfied, those who kept moving forward in search of something better. But in the modern world, this once useful survival trait has become a source of endless suffering. Consider the moment you achieve something you've long desired: a promotion, a new car, a relationship. At first, the joy is intoxicating. The world feels brighter. Your worries feel lighter. But how long does it last? A few days? Weeks? Then, inevitably, the glow fades. The promotion becomes just another job, the car just another vehicle, the relationship just another part of your routine. And soon, you find yourself searching again, convinced that the next achievement, the next possession, the next person will finally be the key to lasting happiness. But it never is. This is why the chase never ends. Each time we reach a milestone, our brain resets the goalpost. This is the foundation of what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. The idea that no matter what happens in our lives, we quickly return to a baseline level of happiness. The new and exciting eventually becomes ordinary, and we are left craving the next high. The most dangerous part of this cycle is that we fail to recognize it for what it is. Instead of questioning whether happiness can truly be attained through external means, we double down. We tell ourselves that we just haven't achieved enough yet, that maybe the next promotion, the next partner, the next adventure will be the one that finally makes us feel complete. But deep down, in the quiet moments when the distractions fade, we sense the futility of it all. So, if happiness is always slipping away, if it can never be truly grasped, what then? Do we resign ourselves to an existence of perpetual longing, forever chasing shadows? Or is there another way, one that doesn't involve pursuit at all? Imagine running on a treadmill that speeds up every time you take a step forward. No matter how fast you run, you never actually get ahead. This is not just a metaphor, it is a psychological reality. This is the hedonic treadmill, the mechanism in your brain that ensures you will never be permanently satisfied, no matter how much you achieve, acquire, or experience. Psychologists Brickman and Campbell first described this phenomenon in 1971, demonstrating that both positive and negative life events have only temporary effects on our happiness. Whether you win the lottery or suffer a devastating loss, your emotional state eventually stabilizes back to its baseline. What does this mean? It means that no external achievement, no material possession, no romantic relationship will ever provide the lasting happiness we crave. The hedonic treadmill explains why even the most successful people, those who seemingly have it all, wealth, fame, power, are often just as restless and unsatisfied as everyone else. Consider how often we hear about celebrities who, despite reaching the pinnacle of success, spiral into depression, addiction, or self-destruction. They climbed the mountain society told them would bring happiness, only to find that the peak was just another illusion. This adaptation mechanism is deeply embedded in our neurobiology. Our brains are designed to seek novelty. The dopamine system, which governs our reward and pleasure responses, is not built to sustain long-term satisfaction. Dopamine is not about contentment. It is about pursuit. It spikes when we anticipate a reward. But once we obtain it, the thrill quickly fades. This is why the first bite of a delicious meal is always the best. Why new relationships feel euphoric at the start, but settle into routine. Why the dream job that once excited you eventually becomes just another obligation. The implications are profound. If happiness is nothing more than a fleeting neurological trick, an illusion that dissolves as soon as we grasp it, then what are we really chasing? And more importantly, why do we keep running? One reason is that society is built on this treadmill. The entire structure of modern civilization thrives on keeping us in a perpetual state of wanting. Advertisers, corporations, and even cultural narratives exploit our psychological wiring, convincing us that happiness is just one more purchase, one more achievement, one more improvement away. But this is a lie. The moment you attain what you desire, the cycle begins again. Take wealth, for example. Studies show that beyond a certain income level, enough to cover basic needs and provide comfort, more money does not lead to more happiness. Yet, people continue to chase it, believing that just a little more will finally bring them peace. The same applies to relationships. We idealize the idea of love, believing that finding the right person will complete us. If happiness cannot be sustained, if the thrill of success, love, and material wealth always fades, then why do we keep believing that fulfillment lies in the next achievement, the next milestone, the next possession? The answer is simple. We have been conditioned to believe in an illusion. Society feeds us the myth that happiness is something external, something we can earn, win, or possess. But what if the entire premise is wrong? From childhood, we are taught that life is a sequence of accomplishments leading to some final state of contentment. Study hard, get good grades, go to a prestigious university, land a high-paying job, find a partner, buy a house, start a family. Each step is presented as a necessary prerequisite for the happiness that always seems just around the corner. Yet, as we climb higher, we begin to notice something unsettling. The happiness we were promised never arrives. Instead, we are given new goals, new expectations, new reasons to feel incomplete. Take a moment to reflect on your past desires. Think of something you once wanted desperately: a job, a car, a relationship, a recognition. At the time, it felt like securing it would bring true fulfillment. But what happened once you got it? The excitement faded, the satisfaction dulled, and soon your mind was fixated on the next pursuit. This is not personal failure. This is the human condition. Even the most objectively successful individuals, those who have wealth, fame, power, often report feeling a deep sense of emptiness. Consider the cases of celebrities and billionaires who, despite achieving everything society deems valuable, battle depression, addiction, or a constant hunger for more. Jim Carrey once famously said, "I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of, so they can see that it's not the answer." Philosophy has long explored this paradox. Arthur Schopenhauer argued that human existence is defined by an endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. The moment one desire is fulfilled, another emerges, ensuring that we are never at peace. Similarly, Buddhist teachings emphasize that suffering arises from attachment, our belief that external things can complete us. But the truth is, nothing outside of us can permanently satisfy an internal longing. The most dangerous part of this illusion is that it keeps us from confronting a deeper truth. We are afraid of stillness. The relentless pursuit of happiness distracts us from something far more unsettling, the realization that external achievements are meaningless without inner clarity. This is why people who seem to have it all often feel lost. They have spent their lives chasing a mirage, only to discover that the oasis never existed. So, what is the alternative? If external fulfillment is a lie, then where does true contentment come from? The answer lies not in chasing, but in seeing, in shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already have, in breaking free from the illusion that something outside of us will ever complete us. If happiness is not something we can chase, If every external achievement eventually fades into dissatisfaction, then what is left? Is life nothing more than a perpetual cycle of longing and disappointment? Or is there a way to step off the treadmill entirely? The answer is simple, but unsettling. True contentment is not found in acquiring more, but in wanting less. This truth is difficult to accept because it contradicts everything we have been taught. We live in a culture that glorifies ambition, progress, and self-improvement. To stop chasing feels like failure. But what if real freedom lies in no longer being enslaved by the endless pursuit? What if the secret to happiness is realizing that you were never truly lacking in the first place? Philosophers and spiritual traditions have long pointed to this realization. The Stoics believed that suffering comes not from external circumstances, but from our attachment to them. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering is desire itself. The moment you stop believing that happiness is somewhere outside of you, you break the illusion that has kept you trapped. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how fleeting moments of true peace arise not when you achieve something, but when you stop needing to? When you are fully present, not yearning for the next thing, but simply existing in the moment. That is the space where happiness actually lives. Not in the future, but in the now. This doesn't mean ambition is wrong or that we should abandon all goals, but the key is detachment. You can pursue success without believing it will complete you. You can love deeply without expecting another person to fix you. You can enjoy wealth without being enslaved by it. The moment you stop needing happiness to come from something outside yourself, you free yourself from the illusion that has controlled you all along. So, will you keep running? Or will you finally step off the treadmill and see that the happiness you've been chasing was never in the future? It was always here, in this moment, waiting for you to notice.